Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this fourth Christmas special, apparently.
I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe we call it a Christmas special.
Yeah, but we're being special, and we're reading poems and short stories, maybe today mostly poems, about this holiday, this festival of light and so on. And
We've kind of run through the traditional Christmas story.
We really have. I read A Child's Christmas in Wales.
That's right.
One year.
Remember that. Oh, the Truman Capote one.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
You read that one?
Mm-hmm. I can't think of what it was called.
I did part of A Christmas Carol,
yes.
I think last year.
You and Neil did The Grinch Who Stole Christmas,
that was
right?
The first year.
The first year, 2012. And Fred happily came in and he read one with the curse words in it. It was really good. It was about boys in a dormant, what do you call that? Detention, juvenile detention or something.
Yeah, it was a little bleak.
A little bleak house. I think we read part of A Christmas Carol, like the most.
Yes, not the whole thing.
No, certainly not. And so today, seems like we mostly I have a John Cheever short story that I may not read, called Christmas is a Sad Season for the Poor. And it appeared in the New Yorker magazine in 1949, December. And it is about an elevator operator having to work on Christmas Day.
I vaguely remember
and the reaction.
I know what else we did too. Didn't you read O. Henry?
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
The Gift of the Magi or something.
The Gift of the Magi.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Well, if we don't get to that John Cheever story, people should look it up.
Yeah. And because it's unusual and it's John Cheever.
Yeah.
Another one we read was Hans Christian Andersen. I read several variations on the Christmas theme.
That's right.
The Christmas tree that was so happy to sacrifice itself.
That was a little odd, I thought. Yes.
So, dear viewer, thank you for another year of watching Missoula Live with Kim and myself. I haven't much in the way of MCAT announcement. I should say MCAT studios will be closed between the holidays. Typically we do this, there just isn't that much interest.
Yeah.
So we'll be closed that week between the Saturday of Christmas Eve and the Saturday of New Year's Eve. And we will reopen on Tuesday the 2nd, or 3rd rather, because New Year's is the
New Year's
first.
is on a Sunday.
Sunday.
So
then Monday the 2nd is a bank holiday.
Right.
And then Tuesday the 3rd, we're back into 2017.
Same with us.
So if Tuesday's the 3rd, that means Wednesday's the 4th, that means January the 11th, you could come down to MCAT and get a tour of what we have to offer you in the way of equipment for making video clips. This is at 530 where we are, which is the northeast corner of Spruce and Higgins, 500 North Higgins Street. And you don't have to register. You could call us, 542-6228 for more information. Email mcat@mcat.org, and that's all my MCAT news.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll just remind people that what I've been saying for the last several shows is Humanities Montana, which has offices in 311 Brantley Hall on the University of Montana campus. We too were closed in between Christmas and New Year's. Yes. But we have a grant deadline of December 20th. So if you are researching any humanities topic and could use some support in order to do that, either to compensate you for the time, so you could take some time off to do the research into history, world affairs, literature, any of the humanities disciplines. We have a grant of up to $4,000 to help you do that as an individual. Or if you're an organization and you're planning a humanities project, we have regular grants which have no upper limit, and you can apply through our website, and you can call me, Kim Anderson, any day except the week between Christmas and New Year's.
To learn more about it. Well, golly, do you have one you want to read first? You think it would be a good kickoff? If you read Ogden Nash, I would read next another Ogden Nash.
Perfect. Let's start with Ogden Nash because he's very funny and I think he's underappreciated.
Yeah, I do too.
He's very clever. Mine is called Winter Complaint by Ogden Nash, and there's been a rash of flu-ish stuff going through Missoula, so it seemed appropriate to me. Winter Complaint. Now, when I have a cold, I am careful with my cold. I consult a physician, and I do as I'm told. I muffle up my torso in woolly garb, and I quaff great flagons of sodium bicarb. I munch on aspirin, I lunch on water, and I wouldn't dream of osculating anybody's daughter. And to anybody's son, I wouldn't say howdy, for I am a sufferer, magna cum laude. I don't like germs, but I'll keep the germs I've got. Will I take a chance of spreading them? Definitely not. I sneeze out the window and I cough up the flu, and I live like a hermit till the germs get through. And because I'm considerate, because I'm wary, I am treated by my friends like Typhoid Mary. Now, when you have a cold, you are careless with your cold. You are cocky as a gangster who has just been paroled. You ignore your physician, you eat steaks and oxtails, you stuff yourself with starches, you drink lots of cocktails, and you claim that gargling is a time of waste, and you won't take soda for you don't like the taste. And you prowl around parties full of selfish bliss and greet your hostess with a genial kiss. You convert yourself into a deadly missile. You exhale hellos like a steamboat whistle. You sneeze in the subway and you cough at dances and let everybody else take their own good chances. You're a bronchial boor, a bacterial blighter, and you get more invitations than a gossip writer. Yes, your throat is froggy, and your eyes are swimmy, and your hand is clammy, and your nose is brimmy, but you woo my girls, and their hearts you jimmy, while I sit here with the cold you gimme.
Oh, that's really good. I like the ending. It builds with its rhythm and rhyme.
Yes.
And that's kind of true, how people are different. Mm-hmm. Some won't let a cold stop them from anything. It's no excuse.
I look for any excuse to crawl under the covers.
Yeah, I do too.
And take a little nap.
I stay a while the invalid. So I will dovetail the Ogden Nash with another Ogden Nash. I don't know when it was made. This one is called The Boy Who Laughed at Santa Claus, and it has a similar kind of jazzy rhyme scheme.
Yeah.
And here it goes. In Baltimore there lived a boy. He wasn't anybody's joy. Although his name was Jabez Dawes, his character was full of flaws. In school he never led his classes. He hid old ladies' reading glasses. His mouth was opened when he chewed, and elbows to the table glued. He stole the milk of hungry kittens and walked through doors marked no admittance. He said he acted thus because there wasn't any Santa Claus. Another trick that tickled Jabez was crying boo at little babies. He brushed his teeth, they said in town, sideways instead of up and down. Yet people pardoned every sin and viewed his antics with a grin, till they were told by Jabez Dawes, there isn't any Santa Claus. Deploring how he did behave, his parents swiftly sought their grave. They hurried through portals pearly, and Jabez left the funeral early. Like whooping cough from child to child, he sped to spread the rumor wild. Sure as my name is Jabez Dawes, there isn't any Santa Claus. Slunk like a weasel of a martin through nursery and kindergarten, whispering low to every tot, there isn't any, no, there's not. The children wept all Christmas Eve, and Jabez chortled up his sleeve. No infant dared hang up his stocking for fear of Jabez ribald mocking. He sprawled on his untidy bed, fresh malice dancing in his head, when presently with a scalp a-tingling, Jabez heard a distant jingling. He heard the crunch of sleigh and hoof, crispy alighting on the roof. What good to rise and bar the door? A shower of soot was on the floor. What beheld by Jabez Dawes? The fireplace full of Santa Claus. Then Jabez fell upon his knees with cries of don't and pretty please. He howled, I don't know where you read it, but anyhow, I never said it. Jabez replied the angry saint, it isn't I, it's you that ain't. And although there is a Santa Claus, there isn't any Jabez Dawes. Said Jabez then with an impudent vim, oh yes there is, and I am him. Your magic don't scare me, it doesn't. And suddenly he found he wasn't. From grimy feet to grimy locks, Jabez became a jack-in-the-box, an ugly toy with springs unsprung, forever sticking out his tongue. The neighbors heard his mournful squeal. They searched for him, but not with zeal. No trace was found of Jabez Dawes, which led to thunderous applause. And people drank a loving cup and went and hung their stockings up. All you who sneer at Santa Claus, beware the fate of Jabez Dawes, the saucy boy who mocked the saint. Donner and Blitzen licked off his paint.
The saucy boy.
Wow. And there's a cautionary tale.
I
indeed.
would say so, yes. Well, should we hear from some greetings from some of
Oh,
our
yeah. If Scott's
nonprofits?
there, you know, almost felt like, oh, yeah,
yeah,
he's
he
there.
is.
Well, yeah, we will treat you to some holiday greetings from various nonprofits that visited the MCAT studio last month. And we'll be back with more Christmas readings after several of these.
Yay.
Dave Chrisman, University District.
Kinsey Vetter, Northside Westside neighborhood.
Karen Younghome, Northside Westside neighborhood.
Anthony Jones,
Ray,
Harvey's Patty Canyon.
Kirk Richardson, Two Rivers neighborhood.
Ariel Cornelius, Moose Kangoli.
Elliot Uresti, Two Rivers neighborhood.
Karina Maurer, Office of Neighborhoods.
Jane Kelly, Office of Neighborhoods.
From our neighborhood to yours, happy holidays!
Hi, I'm Kaylee Bestington and I'm from England and I'm currently training with Rocky Mountain Ballet Theatre, and on behalf of them we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Molly Rowe from Missoula, Montana, and thanks to organizations like these, I have opportunities to dance all over the world.
I'm Charlene Campbell-Carey, the Artistic Director of Rocky Mountain Ballet Theater and the USA Director of VIBE, the Vienna International Ballet Experience.
We've been celebrating Christmas here in Missoula since 1998 with our holiday productions, and this year we'll be found downtown for first night at 3 different destinations. Merry Christmas from all of us, both here and abroad, that all represent Rocky Mountain Ballet Theater at home and away. And we look forward to seeing you in January at the Vienna International Ballet Experience, January 10th through 14th.
Okay, we're back. Maybe I will try the curtain.
Do it. Okay, do.
This is the curtain, and it's Hayden Carruth.
Hayden Carruth, great.
Okay.
Well known. Pulitzer Prize-winning poet, I believe.
Oh, yeah. And this one is from the Poetry Foundation, how you got the printout. So this one, it has a very wintry theme. I'm going to cold read it. It's called The Curtain, and it has snow in it, at least. Here it is. Just over the horizon, a great machine of death is roaring and rearing. We can hear it always. Earthquake, starvation, the ever-renewing sump of corpse flesh. But in this valley, the snow falls silently all day, and out our window, we see the curtain of it shifting and folding, hiding us away in our little house. We see earth smoothened and beautified, made like a fantasy, the snow-clad trees, so graceful. In our new bed, which is big enough to seem like the north pasture almost, with our 2 cats, Cooker and Smudgeons, lying undisturbed in the southeastern and southwestern corners. We lie loving and warm, looking out from time to time, snowbound, we say. We speak of the poet who lived with his young housekeeper long ago in the mountains of the western province, the kingdom of cruelty, where heads fell like wilted flowers and snow fell for many months across the pass and drifted deep in the vale. In our kitchen, the maple fire murmurs in our stove. We eat cheese and new-made bread and jumbo Spanish olives, which have been steeped in our special brine of jalapenos and garlic and dill and thyme. We have a nip or two from the small, inexpensive cognac that makes us smile and sigh. For a while, we close the immense index of images that is our lives. For instance, the child on the Mescalero Reservation in New Mexico, sitting naked in 1966 outside his family's hut, covered with sores, unable to speak. But of course we see the child every day. We hold out our hands. We touch him shyly. We make offerings to his implacability. No, the index cannot close. And how shall we survive? We don't and cannot and will never know. Beyond the horizon, a great unceasing noise is undeniable. The machine, like an immense, clanking, vibrating, shuddering, unnameable contraption as big as a house, as big as the whole town, may break through and lurch into our valley at any moment, at any moment. Cheers, baby. Here's to us. See how the curtain of snow wavers and then falls back. Wow.
Cheery, cheery, cheery.
Dark holiday time. It's
But
kind
I
of...
really like that
Yeah.
poem. I actually think it's wonderful.
It is some of that element, you know, where you feel really grateful for all the things you have, and then you look out onto a vast world of pain and suffering.
Yeah.
And it has right in the middle kind of that sense of enclosure and comfort and cocooning and so on.
Right. Right.
Okay, that was the curtain.
Okay, mine is a little more cheerful.
Okay.
In fact, and I read this at least one other year, but I really like this poem, and I've never heard of the poet. It's Timothy Steele. It was written in 1948.
Wow, yeah.
But it's called Toward the Winter Solstice. Although the roof is just a story high, it dizzies me a little to look down. I lariat twirl the cord of Christmas lights and cast it to the weeping birch's crown. A dowel into which I've screwed a hook enables me to reach, lift, drape, and twine the cord among the boughs so that the bulbs will accent the tree's elegant design. Friends passing home from work or shopping pause and call up commendations or critiques. I make adjustments. Though a potpourri of Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Jews, and Sikhs, we are all conscious of the time of year. We all enjoy its colorful displays and keep some festival that mitigates the dwindling warmth and compass of the days. Some say that LA doesn't suit the Yule, but UPS vans now, like magi, make their present-laden rounds, while fallen leaves are gaily resurrected in their wake. The desert lifts a full moon from the east and issues a dry Santa Ana breeze, and valets at chic restaurants will soon be tending flocks of cars and SUVs. And as the neighborhoods sink into dusk, the fan palms scattered all across town stand more calmly prominent, and this place seems a vast oasis in the Holy Land. This house might be a caravansary, the tree a kind of cordial fountainhead of welcome, looped and decked with necklaces and centaurs of green, yellow, blue, and red. Some wonder if the Star of Bethlehem occurred when Jupiter and Saturn crossed. It's comforting to look up from this roof and feel that while all changes, nothing's lost. To recollect that in antiquity, the winter solstice fell in Capricorn, and that in the Orion Nebula, from swirling gas, new stars are being born.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's got a great hope to it. Maybe we should read one more each. And then this one by Mark Doty, The Messiah, the Christmas Portions.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd read it before. And it has that hopeful, you know, kind of reconstituted element of it.
So you're going to read that one.
All right.
Good.
This is Messiah, Mark Doty, and it says Christmas Portions. I think it's a much larger poem than this one. A little heat caught in gleaming rags, in shrouds of veil, torn and sun-shot swaddlings. Over the Methodist roof, two clouds propose a Zion of their own, blazing, colors of tarnish on copper. Against the steely close of a coastal afternoon, December, while under the steeple, the choral society prepares to perform Messiah, pouring in their best black and whites onto the raked stage. Not steep, really, but from here, the first pew, they're a looming cloud bank of familiar angels. That neighbor who fights operatically with her girlfriend, for one, and the friendly bearded clerk from the post office. Tenor trapped in the body of a baritone. Altos from the A&P, the soprano from the t-shirt shop. Today, they're all poise, costume, and purpose, conveying the right note of distance and formality. Silence in the hall, anticipatory, as if we're all about to open a gift we're not sure we'll like. How could they compete with sunset's burnished oratorio? Thoughts which vanish when the violins begin. Who'd thought they'd be so good? Every valley proclaims the solo tenor. A sleek blonde I've seen somewhere before, the liquor store, shall be exalted. And in his handsome mouth the word is lifted and opened into more syllables that we can count. Central awe dilated in a baroque melisma, liquefied. The pour of voice seems to make the unplaned landscape. The text predicts the Lord will heighten and tame. This music demonstrates what it claims. Glory shall be revealed. If art's acceptable evidence, mustn't what lie behind the world be at least as beautiful as the human voice? The tenors lack confidence, and the soloists, half of them anyway, don't have the strength to found the mighty kingdoms these passages propose. But the chorus altogether equals my burning clouds and seems itself to burn commingled powers deeded to a larger centering claim. These aren't anyone we know. Choiring dissolves familiarity in an outpouring rush which will not rest, will not for a moment be still. Aren't we enlarged by the scale of what we're able to desire? Everything the choir insists might flame inside these wrappings, burning another brighter life, quickened now by song. Hear how it cascades in overlapping lapidary waves of praise. Still time to change.
I don't think you have read that.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a New Year's
Beautiful.
too
It's
thing.
very beautiful.
Well, you give him another.
I'll do
we'll
a
take a
little
break and
short
bring up
one,
Brother
yeah.
Smith's song.
Okay. This is a Jane Kenyon poem called Taking Down the Tree. Give me some light, cries Hamlet's uncle midway through the murder of Gonzago. Light, light, cry scattering courtesans. Here, as in Denmark, it's dark at 4, and even the moon shines with only half a heart. The ornaments go down into the box. The silver spaniel, my darling, on its collar, from mother's childhood in Illinois. The balsa jumping jack my brother and I fought over, pulling limb from limb. Mother drew it together again with thread while I watched, feeling depraved at the age of 10. With something more than caution, I handle them, and the lights, with their tin star-shaped reflectors brought along from house to house, their pasteboard toy suitcase increasingly flimsy, tick, tick, the desiccated needles drop. By supper time, all that remains is the scent of balsam fir. If it's darkness we're having, let it be extravagant.
That's a great ending. Okay, we're ready to show you more season's greetings from your favorite local nonprofits, so we'll be right back.
Missoula Rainbow Girls Garden City Assembly number 55 pledges.
We'd like to wish you a happy holiday
And a Happy New Year.
and a Merry Christmas!
Hi, I'm Catherine Hungerford, along with Curtis Hammond and Kim Hutchison and Porridge.
This year, hundreds of older adults will be spending their holidays alone.
Isolation, helplessness, and depression are some of the challenges our older adults are facing.
But with your help, Missoula Aging Services can provide Meals on Wheels with a daily check-in, senior companions, or friendly visitor volunteers.
Please consider taking a tag from one of our community giving trees, making an online donation, or volunteering as a senior companion.
Together, we can make the holidays warmer and brighter for Missoula's older adults.
From all of us at Missoula Aging Services,
Happy holidays!
Nonviolence.
social justice,
Peace and goodwill. Human rights.
fair trade, hope for the future, and a sustainable planet.
Our wishes for the world from all of us at the Jeanette Rankin Peace Center and the Olive Branch.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we're back, you guys, and we're here with Jose Van Smith, and I'd asked him last Friday if he wanted to do a reading. He's like, well, how about a song? And so you're here to sing a Christmas-style song for the people in this Yuletide time.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Mr. Baird, for inviting me to the show. Again, my name is Jay Van Smith. I'm the executive producer of the Right Now TV show. And on behalf of all of us at Right Now TV and IMI Montana and the Montana Empowerment Network, we would like to wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2017.
All right, thank you.
May it be prosperous and joyous.
Well, and then if you want to sit a minute, I'll do a reading that's supposed to be a little like funny. The Night Before Christmas.
Super.
This one I got off the internet. It's called The Night Before Christmas, Legally Speaking. So maybe lawyers in the group or those who like the legal jargon in the group will enjoy this comedic variation on "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So it says, the night before Christmas, legally speaking, whereas on or about the night prior to Christmas, there did occur at a certain improved piece of real property, hereinafter the house, a general lack of stirring by all creatures therein, including but not limited to a mouse.
Love it.
A variety of foot apparel, e.g. stockings, socks, etc., had been affixed by and around the chimney in said house in the hope and or belief that St. Nick, a.k.a. St. Nicholas, a.k.a. Santa Claus, hereinafter referred to by Claus, would arrive at some time thereafter. The minor residents, i.e. the children of the aforementioned house, were located in their individual beds and were engaged in nocturnal hallucinations, i.e. dreams wherein visions of confectionery treats, including but not limited to candies, nuts, and or sugar plums, did dance, cavort, and otherwise appear in said dreams. Whereupon the party of the first part, sometimes hereinafter referred to as I, being the joint owner in fee simple of the house, with the parts of the second part, hereinafter referred to as Mama, and said Mama had retired for a sustained period of sleep. At such time, the parties were clad in various forms of headgear, e.g. kerchief, cap, nightcap. Suddenly, without prior notice of warning, there did occur upon the unimproved real property adjacent and appurtenant to said house, i.e. the lawn, a certain disruption of unknown nature, cause, and or circumstance. The party of the first part did immediately rush to a window in the house to investigate the cause of such disturbance. At that time, the party of the first part did observe, with some degree of wonder and or disbelief, a miniature sleigh, hereinafter the vehicle, being pulled and or drawn very rapidly through the air by approximately 8 reindeer. The driver of the vehicle appeared to be, and in fact was, the previously referenced clause. The party of the first part witness clause, the vehicle and the deer intentionally and willfully trespass upon the roofs of several residences located adjacent to and in the vicinity of the house, and noted the vehicle was heavily laden with packages, toys, and other items of unknown origin or nature. Suddenly, without prior invitation or permission, either express or implied, the vehicle arrived at the house, and Klaus entered said house via the chimney. Klaus did not speak, but immediately began to fill the stocking of the minor children, which hung adjacent to the chimney, with toys and other small gifts. Said items did not, however, constitute gifts to said minors pursuant to the applicable provisions of the U.S. Tax Code. Upon completion of such task, Klaus touched the side of his nose and flew, rose, and/or ascended up the chimney of the house to the roof where the vehicle and deer waited and/or served as lookouts. However, prior to the departure of the vehicle, deer, and Klaus from said house, the party of the first part did hear Klaus state and/or exclaim, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night," or words to that effect.
That is extraordinary.
That's it. Oh,
Dr. Baird, I really enjoyed that.
Oh, good.
The night before Christmas.
As a lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
While you're here, did you want to tell people about your stocking stuffer program through IMI?
Sure, I'd be delighted. Dr. Baird. I represent the IMI Montana and the Montana Empowerment Network. We're a division of the IMI Tri-State Alliance, and we're building affordable green residential properties in Montana, the states of Indiana, Michigan, and Illinois, respectively. We are a 501c3 nonprofit,
right?
Public benefit corporation, and we do events and initiatives throughout the year, fundraisers. We're a charitable organization. So.
And you've been working on your stocking stuffer program this past couple of weeks.
Yes, in fact, we were honored to be sponsored by Chipotle Mexican Grill. They raised quite a few resources for us to support this stocking stuffing initiative. Walmart has been tremendous in supporting our initiatives. We've gotten some support from Walgreens in the past, and in our community. Of course, MCAT has been great, and we are mighty. We appreciate the support that Missoula has embraced us with. In general.
And you're going to be putting together these stockings.
Yes.
And distributing them before the Christmas time.
We hope that. Well, we plan to distribute them on the 23rd.
Yeah.
Actually. We're going to be assembling everything on the 22nd. We do, so if you'd like to volunteer, you can contact us down here at MCAT before they, or you can give me a call. My number is 406-203-7185. And again, my name is Jay Van Smith. I'm the executive producer of the Right Now TV show.
That appears on MCAT.
Yes, we have a series here at MCAT, and we will be. We're gonna select a half a dozen nursing facilities for long-term care individuals to bring joy in their lives this holiday season.
Oh, that's great.
So if you'd like to volunteer your services or some time, we'd be delighted to have you.
Oh, tell them your phone number again, because we're not able to put it up on the screen.
Okay, my number is
203.
Oh yeah. Erica, 406.
Yeah.
203-7185.
Okay.
And again, we want to thank you for inviting us onto the show.
Oh, you're most welcome.
And on behalf of all of us from IMI Montana and Right Now TV, Merry Christmas.
All right, you guys. We'll be right back with Kim and some more Christmas readings right after this.
The mission of the Hospice Care Foundation is to fund compassionate care activities and educate the community on hospice and palliative care options while striving to ensure that hospice care options are available to all those in need.
From all of us at Hospice Care Foundation,
we wish you and yours a very happy holiday season.
To learn more,
visit www.hcfmissoula.com or call us at 541-2255.
Feliz Navidad.
Joyeux Noel.
Hanukkah Sameach.
Frolig Weihnachten.
Mele Kalikimaka.
Hariza Kwanzaa.
There's no place like a home for the holidays.
No matter what language we use, Habitat for Humanity of Missoula
Wishes you comfort and joy throughout the season.
Happy holidays!
Hi, my name is Emily and I'm with Free Cycles.
And my name's Caitlin and I'm also here on behalf of Free Cycles.
As the winter season draws near, it's important to keep your tires aired up, your chain lube, and your brakes tuned so you can stop in wet or icy conditions.
If you are looking for a winter hobby, is to come into Free Cycles and actually learn how to build a bike, and those bikes go to help children, people in Missoula, and all over the nation.
As it starts to get darker sooner, it's also really important to wear your lights at night, have them on you at all times, and be extra alert of your surroundings because sometimes drivers are not expecting to see cyclists on the road.
Free Cycles is a great place to do that and to get some support for learning how to bike in the winter.
Happy holidays and happy cycling!
I'm back. And so Kim is going to read, is this one a short story?
It's a prose poem.
Okay.
I think. It's very unusual, but it's not depressing.
Okay.
I don't think. And it's written by a poet whose name I've never heard before again. Mary Ruefle, I believe is how you say it. R-U-E-F-L-E, Ruefle, in 1952. And it's called Recollections of My Christmas Tree. I have always been vulnerable when confronted with Christmas decorations, and I am sitting in my living room staring at them. The lights on the tree are blinking on and off, and I'm mesmerized. I've never been to a hypnotist, but maybe mesmerization is the last state you enter before going over the edge into hypnosis. Maybe being mesmerized is the last thing you remember. It does seem to be a state all of its own. When I was a child, I did the same thing, watched the lights blink on and off, alone in the living room at night. The only difference is I know a lot more about Christmas now than I did then. I knew practically nothing then. My mother put an electric candle in each window. They were ivory-colored plastic, and at the end of each taper near the bulb, fake drips of wax were molded. I loved the drips the most. It meant that the candles looked real to people inside the house, not just to people looking at them from the outside. What I didn't know then was that these decorations evolved from the Jewish menorah, the Hebrew festival of lights. I don't think my mother knew that either, but if she did, she never mentioned it. And I certainly never contemplated the resemblance of a sleigh to a cradle. A sleigh is basically a very large cradle. The runners of the sleigh are what makes the cradle rock. Once there was a very eccentric man in the 19th century in upstate New York, and when he was in his 50s, he had a carpenter build him a cradle. I saw it in a museum, the biggest cradle ever made, and every night he slept in it. And when he entered his last illness, he stayed in the cradle day and night, feeling the sensual throes of the cradle while somebody nursed and rocked him. I mean in the sense of caring for him. He died in his cradle, and the card on the wall of the museum said he was happy at the end. When I was a child, one of my ornaments was a little red velveteen sleigh. I used to put a tiny doll in it, but now it is empty. I don't even like it anymore. And when I was decorating the tree, I thought about throwing it away, but then I remembered the man in the cradle and decided to keep it. My mother and father also decorated the outside of our house with lights. We lived in a different house every year, so it wasn't easy. The length of the light strings kept changing. People who live in the same house every year don't think about things like that. Their dimensions stay the same. There's no need to adjust anything, ever. After the lights were up on the outside of the house, my father would put us in the car and drive around the neighborhood looking at the lights on the other houses. Sometimes he made disparaging remarks, and sometimes in silence admired them. When they admired them, he would make changes in his own lights the following year. But as we were by then in a new house, none of the neighbors knew we were copycats. The most beautiful yard we ever saw had a snow scene with a frozen pond in the middle and life-sized figure skaters who floated across the pond wearing muffs. This was in Southern California, so everything was fake. The snow, the frozen pond, even the skaters were fake. And when they moved, you could hear a slight whir under the ice. I guess it came from a motor. My father couldn't copy that. I could tell from his face that he was defeated. In those days, everyone had lights. Not a single house was without them. That's one thing that has certainly changed. Today, only poor people have lights, and the poorest people of all have the most of them. And this, at least this is true in the town I live in. There is one street that has the poorest people of all, and at Christmas it is ablaze with lights. There are electric deer on the lawns and huge inflatable Santas. The roofs have more Santas descending in sleighs with reindeer, that kind of thing. The rich people think it is ugly. They don't bother anymore, and they worry about the electric bill. They try to live calm, natural lives. They bake all their own bread. They make cookies and cakes and pies from scratch. They make their own beer and their own wine and liqueurs, and they grow their own food in the summer. And come winter, when they want a Christmas tree or some holly, they just walk out on their land and cut it. Poor people have to use money. They have to go to the store and buy food, especially the kind that is already made. It didn't used to be that way. When I was a kid, it was understood that poor people had to make everything themselves, while rich people got to buy things. My mother bought whole cakes at the grocery store and said we were lucky not to have to make them ourselves. Now, everything is reversed. If my mother and father were still alive, they would be very confused. I think we would all become confused eventually if we didn't die. Maybe death prevents a major confusion that would, if it were allowed to go on, eventually kill us all. When I was little, one Christmas ritual majorly confused me. My mother had a little ceramic sleigh that sat on the table. It was driven by a ceramic Santa and pulled by ceramic reindeer. Every year, I had to wrap empty matchboxes so they looked like tiny presents. Then we piled them in the sleigh. They were the presents Santa was hauling, but they were empty, and it made me sad. My mother would sit at the table smoking, watching me wrap the matchboxes. "Can't we put anything in them?" I asked. "No," she said, "they're fake." "Couldn't we pretend?" I said. "That's what we're doing," she said. "I mean real pretend?" I said. But she just stared off into space, and I knew the conversation had ended. One thing is for certain, I wouldn't want to be a Christmas tree. It would be nice to be the center of attention, to be so decorated and lit that people stared at you in wonder and made a fuss over you and were mesmerized. That would be nice. But then you'd start dropping your needles, and people would become bored with you and say you weren't looking so good. And then they'd take off all your jewelry and haul you off to the curb where you would be picked up and crushed and eventually burned. That's the terrible part. Maybe that's why so many people today have fake trees. They are quite popular. Their limbs come apart, and you can put them in boxes and store them. You can have one of these trees until you die, and you can pass it on to your children. They may not be real, but when you look at them, you can't tell the difference. That always makes people happy, not being able to tell the difference. And happiness, to want to be happy, is the most natural thing of all. That man in his big cradle was happy, though I never understood why, when he died, they didn't just saw the runners off and use it as his coffin. I don't think anyone would have noticed. In the end, the difference between a cradle and a coffin is hardly worth mentioning. Though, then again, I wouldn't have seen the cradle later in the museum, and if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have kept my red velveteen sleigh. I would have just thrown it away. No, never. When it comes to Christmas, when Christmas comes, I sit firmly on the lap of Charles Dickens and repeat after him, "Welcome everything." At this well-remembered time, when everything is capable with the greatest of ease of being changed into anything, on this day, we shut out nothing.
Well, that was good.
That's like an insane person, right?
I kind of like, it reminds me a little of Eudora Welty. She's got a short story called Why I Live at the P.O. or something.
That's right. It's just kind of stream
It's got that kind of ramble.
Yeah.
But then it kind of hooks back.
I know, it's
the
pretty
man
cool.
in that cradle.
Recollections of my Christmas tree. You can look it up online.
Yeah, and isn't it a wild idea that if you live so long, you know, the changes.
Would confuse you. That
Yeah.
whole opposite thing, where it used to be cool to buy things, and now it's
Yes.
cool to make your own
Right.
hive from scratch.
And in certain times, you know, if you were overweight, that was a sign of wealth and
That's right.
success and wonder.
Mhm.
And now, if you're really rich, you want to be as rich as you can be and as thin as you can be. Is that only the poor people get all fat eating the food that's pre-prepared and
Right.
so on.
Right.
Oh, the more things change, the more things change.
So it wasn't quite as cheerful as I thought. But,
Yeah, but it's still, it has that kind of,
it's kind of charming.
yeah, it's got a charm to it. Well, I'll read one, and we shouldn't forget before the clock
We
runs
have
out, that's Scott. So I'll read this
12
one,
minutes. We have
and we'll
plenty
take a break, and Scott can come out
Yay.
and recite. What would you say, Sarah Teasdale or Boris Pasternak?
The Boris Pasternak is pretty nice.
Okay, here it is, dear viewers. Winter Night, a poem by Boris Pasternak. It snowed and snowed the world over. Snow swept the world from end to end. A candle burned on the table. A candle burned. As during summer midges swarm to beat their wings against a flame, out in the yard the snowflakes swarm to beat against the window pane. The blizzard sculptured on the glass designs of arrows and of whirls. A candle burned on the table, a candle burned. Distorted shadows fell upon the lighted ceiling, shadows of crossed arms, of crossed legs, of crossed destiny. 2 tiny shoes fell to the floor and thudded. A candle on a nightstand shed wax tears upon a dress. All things vanished within, the snowy, murk white hoary. A candle burned on the table, a candle burned. A corner draft fluttered the flame, and the white fever of temptation upswept its angel wings that cast a cruciform shadow. It snowed hard throughout the month of February, and almost constantly a candle burned on the table. A candle burned.
Very atmospheric.
Yeah, really is. That's wonderful. All right, well, we'll show you a few more for the break. You might see one you've seen already before of our holiday greetings from local nonprofits. And Scott will be out to recite his original Christmas poem right after this.
CASA of Missoula would like to extend our sincerest gratitude to the Missoula community for all of your support throughout the year, with special thanks to our court-appointed special advocate volunteers who spend countless hours advocating on behalf of abused and neglected children. If you are interested in learning more about our program or becoming a CASA volunteer, visit us online at www.casamissoula.org or by contacting our office at 542-1208. Our annual Light of Hope banquet and silent auction is right around the corner on Friday, February 3rd. We hope to see you there. Happy holidays from our families to yours.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from A Carousel for Missoula and Dragon Hollow. We're open every day through the holidays with lots of choices for wonderful Christmas gifts. And we're also open for free rides on Christmas Day thanks to our wonderful volunteers from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Happy Holidays from the YWCA.
Don't
forget Secret
So
Seconds
Scott,
for
as you
all
know,
your
is
holiday
usually the
needs.
person making everything run in the back and not on camera, but he's going to no, you wrote this poem, right?
Yes.
Oh,
I
sorry.
wrote this poem. Are you okay, Joel?
And Joel's in the control room now.
Happy holidays.
Well, I wrote this nice little poem because I thought, I'd, I'll just make it up as I go. I like to make a couple silly little things here and there because every week I do a lot of after-school programs. And a lot of kids nowadays, it's hard for them to actually think
German
of something
Fest, New Zealand Days,
to do.
First Friday Gallery
And
Night,
video-wise,
and
it's
this
like,
New
let's
Year's
make a movie
Eve,
about, I don't know,
First Night
people
Missoula,
fighting.
the 23rd, First Night in Missoula. Make sure you get your button today. Happy holidays.
It's V1, 2, and 3 are, you just have to choose between one of those cameras and you're pretty much set. Okay, so let me just read my poem. It's called Winter Poem by Scott. Winter is here and it is clear that the winter sees that the weather some cannot bear. But that's not me, for I'm made for the winter. From the hair to the top of my head to the dead cat upon my chest, hair is my superpower and it keeps me warm. The cold blows through my sweater, defeating the namesake. They should call it a shiver because sweaters cannot protect. From what you may ask, the weather. That's what I've been implying in this spoken word poem. I've started off with a rhyme and now it's time to stop something as wasteful as coming up with the right word that rhymes. Cold is the word shared by this. Arctic, bitter, icy, crisp, brisk with a hint of brumal. Thank you, Thesaurus, for all those words you've provided me. Many words to describe one feeling this season. No wonder there are so many holidays. It's to forget and to forgive winter for being cold in the first place. It's the winter season, time to go shopping, but we must not forget to wear a coat, but you can always wear shorts.
That's great. That's terrific. Bravo. Do you really like the cold?
Yeah, I like the cold. I like layering up and just being all snuggly. And then of course in the summer it's just like brutal. It can be really brutal in the summer. This summer was fairly mild, and we actually had a fall this year, which is pretty nice.
Yes, that's true. I have one about the cold, just to answer yours. But I did not write this. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote this. Woods in winter. When winter winds are piercing chill, and through the hawthorn blows the gale, with solemn feet I tread the hill that overbrows the lonely vale. O'er the bare upland and away through the long reach of desert woods, the embracing sunbeams chastely play and gladden these deep solitudes. Where twisted round the barren oak, the summer vine in beauty clung, and summer winds the stillness broke, the crystal icicle is hung. Where from their frozen urns mute springs pour out the river's gradual tide, shrilly the skaters' iron rings and voices fill the woodland side. Alas, how changed from the fair scene when birds sang out their mellow lay, and winds were soft and woods were green, and the song ceased not with the day. But still wild music is abroad, pale desert woods within your crowd, and gathering winds in hoarse accord amid the vocal reeds pipe loud. Chill airs and wintry winds, my ear has grown familiar with your song. I'll hear it in the opening year. I listen and it cheers me long. Well, we might be able to get Joel back out here for one final poem.
But we have some more PSAs.
But first we'll look at a few more Merry Christmases from all of the nonprofits.
CN's celebration. And it's also the home of Spark, Arts Ignite Learning, the Public Art Committee, the Montana Book Festival, German Fest, New Zealand Days, First Friday Gallery Nights, and this New Year's Eve, First Night Missoula, the 23rd First Night in Missoula. Make sure you get your button today. Happy holidays.
Missoula Rainbow Girls Garden City Assembly number 55 pledges.
We'd like to wish you a happy holiday
And a happy new year.
and a Merry Christmas.
Exciting. Okay, we're back, you guys. Do you want to do it? No, I'll do the last one then. And this will be The Winter Blue Jay by Sarah Teasdale. Crisply the bright snow whispered, crunching beneath our feet. Behind us as we walked along the parkway, our shadows danced, fantastic shapes in vivid blue. Across the lake the skaters flew to and fro with sharp turns weaving a frail invisible net in ecstasy the earth drank the silver sunlight. In ecstasy, the skaters drank the wine of speed. In ecstasy, we laughed, drinking the wine of love. Had not the music of our joy sounded its highest note? But no, for suddenly, with lifted eyes, you said, "Oh, look, there on a black bough of a snow-flecked maple, fearless and gay as our love, a blue jay cocked his crest. Oh, who can tell the range of joy or set the bounds of beauty?"
Ah.
That's sweet.
Do you ice skate?
No. I
Me
tried
neither.
to as a youth, you know, and I had the ankle problem.
Yeah, I know.
Like it just went sideways and I could not stay high on the blade. But, you know, I despaired of that.
I know.
tried it one time,
These
two
last
times.
two poems had skaters, and it always is
Yeah.
a kind of a, you know, an image of winter
Yeah.
and all of that. And no, I don't.
And,
either.
and adapting to winter and staying like, you know, kind of upbeat and moving. It's a good piece of advice for Montana winters. Stay upbeat and moving,
Keep
people.
moving.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us on this, the 2016 Christmas edition of MCAT's Missoula Live. And for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. We'll see you next year.
And I'm Kim Anderson. Hope your holidays are wonderful.
Thanks for watching, you guys.